was the first example of using a parse table to solve for a specific input. I'm going to do it step by step, but there was one couple things I noticed here that the book doesn't cover. Is that one interesting part is you got to make sure that you identify the possible terminals in the grammar that they give you. Notice I found int, the addition sign, the multiplication sign. Really, the empty set is not a symbol. So like you'll see in the example input that I have here, here's all of the examples I just talked about except for a plus. So, and we'll try it with other ones here in a little bit. So we're going to always start off with a stack that has a starting symbol in it and the ending symbol. And notice it's the same thing for the input. The input can be a bit varied. The actions, what do we have happen to this? There's always a chance for error. If we happen to get, in this example, we have an E on top of the stack and our first input is an int. So if I look here at E and I look at the int, I do have a match, and that means I need to put a TX separately on the stack. Now, let's say I had a multiplication symbol and it was a blank space. That means that's an error. So let me go ahead and write this down. So if I have a match, I'm going to pop, which is going to be E being popped off, but I'm going to push on TX. Now, I still have not moved on from my int, so you still see the entire input, but I do have now TX and my ending symbol on the stack. Start with T, and then find the int. So here's a T, here's the int, and I have int Y. So I'm going to push an int Y onto the stack after I pop as well. So again, every successful one I also do a pop. Let me show you what the stack will look like. Here's where things get weird, because here I put on the int Y onto my stack now, and I'm still have my int as my input. My token is still at first int. I put out the possible terminals because if we happen to have a match on terminals, they have to be a match. That means that we will go ahead and pop, and we'll go to what is called next. So, and it's just like what you would think. We move on to the next symbol. So in my next line, you're actually going to see my input change just slightly. So my int was popped off here, and my int was popped off here. I moved up to my next token, which is a multiplication sign. Okay, and we have a Y. Again, they do not match. You have to look at the table here. So we have a Y, and we have a multiplication symbol. So we're going to add a star T to the stack. So I added my star T to the stack. Here's my X still original. But now again, notice I have a match for my first token and my first item on top of the stack. So I'm going to pop in next again after this. So I now have a T at the top of my stack. I have an int. So I'm going to go T here. Then we have int here for my top column. And I'm going to insert int Y to the stack. As I'm sure you already assumed, we have two ints. So we're going to have a pop in our next. And I'm continuing with the chart here. We have Y at our top of our stack and a dollar sign. So go to Y, dollar sign. Now this does not mean error. It just means we don't push anything onto the stack. All we're going to do is pop. And it's going to happen several times in a row here, because now we're going to have X dollar sign with a dollar sign again. And if you look at the chart, X and dollar sign pop again. Remember, at the end of this, we want basically our stack to be empty or have the dollar sign at the end of it to make sure that our grammar for this parse correctly. Here we have X again, we pop. This time we have dollar sign, and we end with our dollar sign. As long as we end with both of them, we have an accept state.